So what happens?
Don't question me. Will I?
So until it actually starts, customers will log in and just see this logo.
Can you see how you've got logged in at the moment waiting?
16.
Alright.
One person likes it. Okay.
You've gone dead, mate.
I should have.
Okay.
What's that?
It should pick up now. I'm not receiving. Oh, for goodness sake. I got a receiving date when I include it.
Says it's good, but
It's dropped out then. My Wi-Fi's off, don't look at me.
Happy days.
everything's come back. So it's just not refresh or something.
Does that sometimes. Okay, happy days. You can do broadcast alerts as well. So if we're having issues, we can put we're experiencing technical difficulties.
Alright,
We'll be back, or broadcast is cancelled, or
Alright, yeah.
So don't you want one now
Slates
saying,
in
I know.
section, which is those things they've got there, slates in, slates out, yeah.
Can you do little custom ones? So like the broadcast due to start at 12.
That's what they've done, eh?
Please bear with us.
But no, that's,
yeah,
these are
good shot,
slates,
yeah.
I presume, aren't they? So they've got, it's got slate
I
in,
assume
slate out.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, because a slate is a start code.
yeah. It's pretty.
And this is all
So they-
YouTube's website, is it? That whole thing?
It's a piece of piss, this YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
So the top one is the preview, which is the feed it's receiving.
Yeah,
The
that's-
bottom one is the public
that's
use
public,
output
yeah.
at the moment. So if we were to do
One of them colour. It would.
then
It comes at about. It does take a while to come back on. It's like.
that's what we should be sending, shouldn't it?
Yeah, should be. It'll take. It takes about 30 seconds.
There's a lag.
I was on the phone to Lee and Martin the other day. 4360. Why is it not going in 1080?
But where's it getting this signal from then? Well, there you go, something's happened.
Where was it getting that audio
There you
from?
go.
That audio looked really loud, considering it's just background talking a mile away from the microphone.
I got okay. The preview will only go to.
If that should be a public view, yeah, sure, that should have a slate in, that one there.
Hi WRU, we can hear you, just so you know. Yeah, we know. So that'll go back to media one, and then it'll just hold.
WRU, right to?
Not yet. That will go live because we've already got that on there.
Right, okay.
That goes live.
Surely the public view shouldn't be that, so I don't understand. The public view should be the slate in until we start
It
streaming.
will go from that because the time on the broadcast starts at 11:30 rather
Oh,
than
I don't
12.
right. I thought we were
Sorry.
45.
We couldn't. It goes. It only goes in.
Half hour chunks.
Yeah.
That takes a long time for it to catch back up. Huh?
That was no. That bit. That's fine. Happy with that. We can hear you. I know.
Good.
Yeah. Let's
means
go
that they
pick
can-
something out.
I'm down now.
Oh, hang on. That would be why.
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Wales Rugby World Cup squad announcement. Our chairman, Gareth Davis, will make the announcement shortly. We'll then follow with some top table questions. I'm going to hand over to Gareth to make the squad announcement.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Good afternoon, everybody. That's everybody who's in attendance, and obviously everybody who's sort of watching on modern technology on different platforms, etc. And perhaps more importantly, I think the Welsh players who I'm sure are watching with bated breath and great expectation. And in terms of reflecting the hard work that they put in, obviously over many years, but in particular I think the last 2 months or so. Personally, I'd like to thank Warren and Alan for inviting me to sort of announce the squad. I think it's a lovely privilege, and I'm sure it'll be a squad that will do Wales proud over the next few months or so. And I think perhaps that the effort in Dublin on Saturday offers more than a little hope that there will be good times over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, today's not a time for speeches. It's time to send our lads off with our best wishes for a hugely successful Rugby World Cup 2015. So the full 31 in alphabetical order: Scott Baldwin, Jake Ball, Luke Chatteris, Bradley Davis, Dominic Day, Dalupe Faletau, Thomas Francis, Paul James, Aaron Jarvis, Gethin Jenkins, Alan Wynne-Jones, James King, Samson Lee, Dan Lydiate, Ken Owens, Justin Tipperick, Sam Warburton, captain, Corey Allen, Hallam Amos, Dan Bigger, Alex Cuthbert, Gareth Davis, Lee Halfpenny, Matthew Morgan, George North, Rhys Priestland, Jamie Roberts, Rhys Webb, Liam Williams, Lloyd Williams, and the 31st, Scott Williams. So that's the squad for Rugby World Cup 2015, and I think we've got the squad captain coming to join us at top table, Sam Warburton.
That concludes the announcement. Now a top table session, so any questions to the top table, please?
Warren, what was the trickiest of all the calls? What the trickiest area?
I think probably for us, as we felt how important our second rows were, and we've ended up going for 5 second rows, and really it's because it's such an attritional position, and as a result, probably Christian's been unlucky and missed out because we've only gone for the 2 hookers at this stage, and Alan Wynne-Jones picked up a little bit of a medial strain on the weekend, which is a couple of weeks. Luke Charters got a bang on the leg and back and neck problems. Bradley Davis obviously got a shoulder. It was his first game for 5.5 months. So, we've kind of looked at the squad and we said we need to make sure that, particularly the sort of engine room needs to be functioning, and if players do pick up knocks, we've got cover for them, but also probably having that hard conversation with them as well as when the World Cup starts. If you're ruled out for a couple of weeks, there's a good chance you're going to be replaced by someone else, because we need to make sure that the squad is strong as well. So that was a really tough call for us, and a lot of players that have worked incredibly hard in the last couple of months, and they were some of the decisions were a toss of a coin, and the fact that we've got going on into this World Cup already carrying a few players that with Samson Lee and Liam Williams obviously having injuries. Gareth Atskin, the medical advice for us is that possibly might be available for the Uruguay game, but there's no guarantee, and he's been unlucky because we just felt we couldn't afford to carry another injured player, and so those players that have missed out, you feel for them massively, and just to get their heads up, and we know with history that there's always a number of injuries and players are going to be called in, and so just to make sure that they're ready for when that potential call-up does come.
Are you pretty confident that Alan Wynne will be okay to start?
Yeah, just a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah, but you never know with medial stuff, and like I said, that engine room is so important for us. I thought he was outstanding in the weekend. I thought Bradley Davis was, for his first game in 5.5 months, I thought gave us a lot as well. And so we've got players who can do a job for us, and when you want to go sort of live sessions at training or do live scrummaging sessions as well, you want to make sure you've got people on board to be able to do that part for you too.
Warren, how tough has this selection been?
Yeah, it's tough because you've got to make the hard calls in terms of obviously making some tough phone calls to players, and it's incredibly disappointing for those players that miss out. For any of those players that do miss out, I mean, I know what it's like. I got left out in the 91 World Cup, same thing. It rocks you. It's hard, but you just got to accept that's the nature of professional sport, and we're entrusted to make what we believe are the right calls. I always say we don't always get it right, and there's always debate about that. But it was. We've said in the last few weeks we probably felt there was 24 or 25 players that we had nailed on, and it was really making that call on the last half a dozen players.
Warren, how would you assess the strength and depth of this squad when compared to ones you've named in the past? Because there's plenty of experience in bolters like Thomas and Dominic have come through just at the right time for you. A lot of strength and depth.
Yeah, well, as long as we don't pick up too many injuries, and we know we've got a couple of players to come back from injury, and Sampson and Liam Williams, which will strengthen the squad. Like I said, there's one or two players that carry knocks at the moment who have been a little bit unlucky. We've picked Matthew Morgan as someone who thinks he's got a bit of X factor. Surprisingly, he's not 6'4" and 115 kg. He's quick and got some skill. So, and that X factor is important. He can cover a few positions as well. So, I think there's a nice balance in there at the moment between the physicality that we can bring. We saw that in the weekend. The physicality, we had to go with a pretty physical performance against Ireland. We demonstrated that, and hopefully with some skill. And even though last week was a pretty tight game, I thought we offloaded pretty well, and we looked to start playing some pretty positive rugby, particularly in a week where going to Ireland we'd had Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off. We only trained once on the Thursday, and the captain's run on the Friday. So very, very pleased with the way that the players performed on the weekend with pretty limited normal test week preparation.
Sam, how are you? How's the shoulder?
Yes, it's okay. I'm going to see the physio, again today. Similar to what Warren said last week, I think it was more precautionary than anything. Just took a bump on it before, and for the sake of maybe 3-4 days extra rest, they just said it just wasn't worth the risk. So it's an injury I've had in the past. We know exactly how to manage it, and confident I'll be fine for next week.
As a group, you've obviously been through a lot together as players in preparation for this. Disappointing as it is for the ones who've missed out, how much will that add to the 31 of you who have made it, and compared to perhaps 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think I only saw the squad 1 minute before it was announced, and obviously you're gutted for the players who've missed out. But there's some players I'm absolutely delighted for that they've made the squad, and I've seen firsthand how hard guys have trained, say like James King, Dom Day, and they've really impressed me throughout the two months that we've had, and the effort on the weekend that the boys showed against Ireland. I think it shows that all that teamwork that we've done together for the last 2-3 months has paid off. They work so hard for each other. Really impressive performance considering it's the first time a lot of those boys have played for quite a few months, and historically we're quite slow starters. I just think the preparation that we've done in the last 3 weeks, had some sort of 15-on-15 games in training. I think it's worked out really well, and we had a really good week training camp the week before we played Ireland. I just think the running and the work we've done in the last 3 weeks has been spot on, and that was shown in the performance. Ireland have lost twice in 15 games, and to go out there to Dublin and win. It's a massive confidence boost for us going to the World Cup. So you do play the World Cup warm-up games down. You know, it's not the end of the world if you did lose it, but the effect of winning that game on Saturday, I think, is massive for us as a group.
Warren, two questions. Is it a slight risk only taking 2 hookers? Usually you take 3. And secondly, the selection, James King, was his versatility perhaps got him the nod over Moriarty?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think if I can answer the second part first, I think Ross has come in, and the more time he's spent with us, the better he's got himself into pretty good physical shape. I think he understands what we're looking for, and his accuracy at trainings has improved over that time, and making sure that he knows his role. And look, he's been unlucky. He's going to be definitely a player of the future, and probably for James as just a little bit more experience. Again, you know, he's, even though we consider him definitely as a back row forward in terms of that 6, he does have the ability to go and cover that second row. And as a precaution, made sure Alan Wynne came off in the weekend and went and covered us at second row, having gone on for as a blood replacement for Dan Lydiard. And with the hookers, again, like I said, you know, it was always our intention to take 3, but I think it makes it a little bit easier that being at home and you know, having access to you know, potentially a hooker to come in, and those hookers that have you know, the 2 that have been working with us the whole time in terms of Chris and Jason and even Richard Hibbert, both of them have been around. So if, you know, one of the hookers does pick up an injury, or even someone else in the squad, you know, you get a second row injury, you may go to bring in that 3rd hooker in. So there's plenty of options for us, but you know, and what I say that we've spoken briefly as coaches that the squad or the team that we picked this weekend for Italy may include 1 or 2 players outside of that 31 as well. So we need to, you know, keep players involved and interested, and also to keep making sure that we keep other players fresh and injury free as well.
Warren, just how important is the breakdown going to be at this World Cup in both attack and defence, and how well shaped do you think Wales are to meet that challenge? You've got the likes of Sam and Justin and so on.
Yeah, look, the breakdown's going to be key, and we were disappointed with that aspect of our game in the first game against Ireland, and that has been our focus in the last few weeks. And I thought our breakdown work last weekend was a massive improvement, but I think defensively we improved hugely from that first game. And Sam was right, you know, it normally takes us a little bit of time together as a squad before we start to hit the ground running, you know, sort of getting some momentum. So, you know, the breakdown for us has been a huge focus. We're incredibly blessed at the moment. I know there's been a lot of debate and discussion about Justin's. I thought Justin Tipuric was his best performance in a Welsh jersey, not because you know, we not because of the things that we know he can do in playing in the wide channels, but he did it up front in the tight stuff, and I haven't seen him play that way. He was absolutely shattered in the change rooms afterwards. He'd just given everything, and that's what you expect of your sevens. And this man next to me, I've seen him in the change rooms just not being able to move for half an hour. So to have the quality of those 2 players is you know, a great position to be in. So, you know, maybe as the history of Wales changed, that we used to always debate about the number 10s, we're now doing that about the number 7s when we get a couple of quality players. But in fairness, look, I want to speak about the quality of the man next to me, because if I look back in 2013 when he's come in there, you know, he hasn't captained that team for the Six Nations, and he's allowed, you know, even though he was offered the opportunity, he didn't. It wasn't about him; it was about the team. And I have no doubt that Sam and I had the conversation, and for a game we said, "Look, Sam, you haven't been selected for this game. We're picking Justin Tipuric." He would take it on the chin because he puts the team first, and that's why, you know, 4 years ago when we selected Sam as captain for the squad, it wasn't a short-term strategy; it was a long-term strategy, and he's come along, and his leadership has improved over that time. But not just his, but a number of other players in the squad as well. So, but we're very, very lucky to have been in a position we have, and I know there are other nations in the Northern Hemisphere would love to have the quality sevens that we have, and it's a nice position and a nice problem to have for us as coaches. And we even it's been done before with the ability to play both of them at the same time. Everyone's talking about Australia doing that. I mean, they play Pocock at 8, but whether they do that in the big games or not, it's another.
Is that an option you're considering?
Well, it's always an option, isn't it? It's been successful before, but we're going to have to make some tough calls in this World Cup. I promise you, I won't let the media influence me, though.
When do you anticipate Liam Williams and Samson Lee being involved?
Maybe Samson for Uruguay. He's up and running now. He's a little bit getting a little bit frustrated because he feels like he's pretty fit and he's doing live scrummaging, and so he's not too far away. He's just making sure that we don't push him too hard too early. So it's a progression with him. Liam had a little bit of foot pain last week, so hopefully he'll be up and running again this week, and we just got to monitor him. But he was scanned, and it was we were a little bit concerned there might have been some damage to the bone or the plate that went in, but that was all clear. So maybe it's just a bit of referred pain from a little bit of a bit too much overload, and so for him again the plan is hopefully him being right for Uruguay as well.
You're in one of the toughest World Cup pools that's ever been assembled. What have you made of England and Australia? What you've played in?
Yeah, I mean, I've been concentrating on it ourselves a little bit at the moment. I haven't been worrying too much about them. I'm looking forward to this game this weekend, England and Ireland, because from looking from the other side, I mean, whoever loses is going to lose 2 in a row, which means that puts someone under a little bit of pressure. So take a little bit of pressure off us, and someone else comes in. So it's a massive game for Ireland and England this weekend. I've been impressed by France. I think there's no doubt they've gone away into the Pyrenees and stuff and done a lot of fitness work, and they look a lot fitter and stronger than they have in recent campaigns. They fell away the last 20 minutes with England came back, but I thought they dominated for 60 minutes of that game against England and gave them a few headaches for a couple of weeks in a row. So, look, I mean, this group's going to come down potentially to a bounce of the ball and a refereeing decision or whatever, and that's the way it is. But I think all of us, in particular, everyone's just talking about Wales and Australia and England. I don't think we should underestimate Fiji. They're going to be an incredibly tough proposition with a lot of players playing at top level, and France have just won the Pacific Nations Cup, comfortably beating Samoa, and that's not an easy feat. And if we go in there just thinking about supposedly the big 3 teams and we underestimate Fiji, then someone's going to get caught with their pants down. We've got to make sure that they're going to be a tough proposition. I think that opening game for England, it's not going to be a walk in the park. I think it's going to be full-on physical, battle in every aspect of that game. It's going to be tough, and it's going to be a great World Cup opener, but I think England's going to find it a tough game.
Warren, you've had a long, very arduous preparation in your training camps. You've also got 7 players with under 5 caps or fewer. Compared to competitions and squads of the past, how does this 31-man group compare physically, mentally, tactically?
I think there's a nice balance between the experience, that we've got in the squad, and a lot of it, even though there's a number of players that got limited experience in terms of number of caps, as you mentioned, there's a lot of players that were involved in 2011, and that 4 years of journey. That's why I was so pleased with the. We dominated in the last week. When I look back on that loose forward trio, even though we didn't have Sam playing, I thought some of the tight work and the stuff by Dan Lydiard and Toby Faletau was sensational, and both of them 4 years on from where they were in 2011. We're very happy with the 9s at the moment. I think that there wasn't a lot of opportunities for re-sweep in the weekend, but I think our 9s are real running threats. I was pleased for Reece Preston, who came on. I thought his control in the last 10 or 15 minutes and the way that he managed the game was excellent, and particularly in a pretty pressured situation. And we've got some real experience out wide. Probably, I know there was a lot of speculation about Alex Cuthbert, and he probably hasn't played quite as well as he would have liked, but we're going to get him up to speed and on form. You know, he just needs a little bit of time, and sometimes players go through that phase in their career where things haven't been happening for him. But he's got such a strike rate for us in terms of try scoring, both him and George, and we need to make sure that we get the ball into their hands and give them the opportunity to you know, cause the potential damage that they're capable of doing for us in terms of that go forward. And with Lee Halfpenny again, I think he's absolutely world class in what he does, and you know, how he was part of holding up Sean Cronin at the end of last week, and as a goal kicker, he's just a machine, isn't he? So, you know, it's quite funny. You sit in the box there, and normally in the past, someone goes to take a shot at goal, and you're just sort of there thinking, oh, hopefully it goes through the post. And with Lee, we're normally talking about something else, because you just, yeah, you just in your mind you automatically just presume it's going to go through the post. So look, I think we've got a nice balance of some youngsters that have worked hard and come through, and some old heads that give us that experience. And it's always nice when you get youngsters come, because they're so influential in terms of their enthusiasm and what they want to bring and create, and wanting those opportunities, and then you get the experienced guys who know the work ethic in the squad and what's expected when you put that Welsh jersey on too.
Guys, we end the live section there, please. So we'll break up for some broadcast and written interviews now.
Hello, we've
We'll stop in
no, stop it.
Yeah, we'll separate interviews now.
Sorry.
The broadcasters will set up a clock, writers will set up a
Finished now.
Hello?
Oh, you didn't ask me anything about England.